United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Monday morning, and what a weekend of football we've had. And what about the news breaking about Man United going for a midfielder that no one had on their radar, and United are looking to sign him. But we're hearing mixed signals right now, mixed news coming out of Newcastle and Tonali. That's the guy Man United have said that if he becomes available, they will go and sign. Massive news. We've got loads of news to get through today, not just about this sensational signing that United are looking to make with Newcastle. Newcastle seem like they're on the ropes right now. Absolutely. I mean, Eddie Howe leaving possibly. Then we're now hearing Tonali wants to leave. Who else will be jumping ship from Newcastle? It seems like it's all falling apart up there. And, well, there's going to be lots of clubs looking to take advantage of the situation and try and sign a few players if they're looking to jump ship. And Tonali seems to be the first casualty of this Newcastle downfall. He seems to be the guy who says, look, I want out. But there's mixed news coming out. Some people are reporting that Tonali wants to head back to Serie A. He's missing his country of Italy. And, well, do you blame him? I think the weather would be a lot nicer. I think the laid-back lifestyle there is a lot different to what you're probably getting up there in Newcastle. However, Man United have made it very clear they want to sign Tonali if he becomes available. And why not? He is a sensational midfielder, man. He would tick a lot of the boxes. But look, the news broke last night, and let me just bring it up on the screen whilst we're talking about this. By the way, we've got other news on Michael Carrick as well. Michael Carrick and Ineos. Apparently, Ineos have ruled him out for the job. They're saying they don't want Michael Carrick, and if he does want to take over as a full-time manager at United, he's going to have to apply like everybody else. He's going to have to put his name in the hat at the end of the season. What is all that about? We're going to be discussing that as well. But look, there's lots of other news coming out of Man United, which we need to discuss this Monday morning. We'll also be looking back at the weekend's football. We're going to be talking about Liverpool, Man City. What the hell happened there? And is that a result that actually goes in our favour or not? That's another question I need to put to everybody out there. So let me know your thoughts on everything that we're going to be talking about today. But let's jump straight into the discussions that are being had around Tonali. Yes, breaking news is Sandro Tonali has been shortlisted by Manchester United ahead of the rebuild or midfield rebuild in the summer. Newcastle midfielder is amongst those they are looking at. Now, this is a two-sided story. First of all, Tonali wants out of Newcastle. He has been brilliant for Newcastle, but he wants out. He feels like he needs another club. We're not quite sure why. We're just trying to kind of read between the lines here, but we're being told that he wants out of Newcastle. He's not settled, and he maybe wants to come down south, maybe towards London, Manchester, hopefully, and if not, then head back to Italy. That's what we're hearing. And, well, Man United are all over this, and they've said, right, if he wants to leave, we will try and bring him to Old Trafford. This is great news because, look, this guy is brilliant. He's a brilliant midfielder, just exactly the type of midfielder United need currently in that on the middle of that pitch. We've got this. If we put this guy into that team, it will be absolutely cooking. We'll be cooking. Now, what does that mean for Blaber? Well, if we get him, I think Blaber is probably going to be sidelined. If not, we might even go and get Blaber. Imagine getting Blaber and Tonali together. That would be a crazy summer transfer window. I'm not 100% sure whether United will want to spend that much money just on the midfield, because there are other positions that they need to look after. They need to go and recruit in other positions as well. But this news breaking is huge. Now, look, I'm not saying that this is guaranteed and it's nailed on that United are going to go and sign Tonali. Like I said, this morning I'm getting news from sources that, look, this is a little bit overhyped. Yes, he might become available, and yes, United might want to sign him, but he he's got his eyes set on leaving and moving back to Italy. That's what his desired position is. 100% not so sure. It's probably 50% he wants to move back. And then there's 50% where he's saying, look, I'll see what else happens. I mean, if someone else comes in for me, maybe I'll stay, maybe not. The big problem we've got with Tonali is his salary. He is on a huge amount at Newcastle. And if we're going to sign him, we're going to be looking to pay him a lot of money. I think, look, whatever saving we make on Casemiro, we might as well say, look, we're going to have to end up spending on this guy. So that's the only issue I have with this signing. I think, yes, the first sign, the initial signs are that Ineos are interested, but I think as soon as they get down to the nitty gritty and they start talking numbers, I think we're going to be priced out. But look, if we can get him, let's go get him. If we can't, then at least we're trying. At least we're looking at the right players. It's a positive sign that Man United are throwing their hat into this because, yes, it shows us that they mean business, but do I feel like it's going to happen? If I was a betting guy, I would say if it's between Baleba and Tonali, I think they'd go for Baleba because he's going to be the cheaper option. And yeah, that's what we know about Ineos. Their track record is that money counts and money is the end of everything. So if it comes to Tonali, even if he wants to come to United, even if Tonali says, I want Man United, if he does not agree to a salary that United are willing to pay, then yeah, they're not going to sign him. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this Tonali news. Let me know what you think about signing Tonali at the salary that he wants to get paid. I think he's on at least 200k, and if we're going to want to sign him, we're going to have to pay him more than that. So that's a lot of money for Tonali, but he is a top player, top midfielder. We know what he's all about. He can do everything. And look, for me personally, I would say, look, first of all, we need to go to Casemiro and tell him we need another year out of him. Let's be honest. He's sensational right now. He's playing brilliant football for us. We need to go in there and say to him, look, Cass, you need to give us another year. Come back after the World Cup and we'll see how things go from there on in. But this news concerning Tonali is, of course, great for the club and the fans because we can say, okay, we're actually looking at the right type of players. And Tonali ticks all the boxes. Everything. You can't. He's not even a risk, in my opinion. In my opinion, Tonali is not even a risk. You can sign him. You know what you're going to get on the tin. There's no risk in getting him and bringing him to United. Whereas, with Baleba, there is that thought at the back of your head whether he's going to be able to do a job at United. Is his current form just a blip? Will he come to United and actually start playing better? Or is this Baleba at his best right now? And are we going to sign someone who's just going to end up just screwing our balance up and not playing well enough? That is the big question. That's why I'm a bit worried with Baleba, I must admit. And that's why I feel like even United are looking at other options. So when this option of Tonali has come up, I think, I think they are looking at other options. They know that this is not going to be something that is open and shut case. They know that Tonali is a player that's got more experience, he's just knows his way around the pitch. Just brilliant. He's just brilliant. I mean, there's no point me waxing lyrical about him and gassing him, because we all know what he's about. We all know if he comes into United, he will improve the club without a doubt. There's obviously other things going on at United right now that we need to be also aware of. Obviously, Casemiro leaving is one of those issues. Can United afford to let all these players go and have to completely rebuild in the summer, in one summer? I think, look, for me, I think it's not a shrewd move. I think Ineos need to look at this and think, right, okay, can we go out there and rebuild our entire midfield and our squad if the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro and a few others leave? That's a lot of spend in one summer. Or do you spread it out? So in my opinion, what they should be doing is saying, right, okay, do you know what? We'll allow 1 or 2 players to leave, which we can replace, but let's try and hold on to others and make them give us another season so we can have another summer where we can replace them players. So we're not having to go out there and spend millions and millions of pounds in one summer. That just lightens the burden, doesn't it? So they can go out there and replace a couple of players this summer, and next summer they can replace someone else. I mean, so that's why for me, the logic behind saying to Casemiro, give us another year, sign a short-term contract, I think makes sense right now. He's clearly proven that he's given us the best football we've had from him so far. And yes, there might be an argument that he's doing that because of the World Cup, and he might just fall off after the World Cup. We'll have to wait and see. That's a risk I'm willing to take. Whereas if I'm saying, look, we're getting rid of Casemiro and then we're not bringing anybody else in, that's a problem. However, if we're signing the likes of Tonali, then look, I'm happy for Casemiro to leave because this guy is the bee's knees. He is the dog's bollocks, man. He is sensational, brilliant player. I've loved Tonali. The moment Newcastle were signing him, I was like, oh my God, why are we not going for him? Why can Man United not go out and there and buy someone like Tonali? Because I was a huge fan of him, even when he was out in the Serie A playing football there. Anyway, so that's Tonali news. Let's wait and see. We'll keep you updated on everything we get from Tonali because this could be a huge summer signing if it happens. If he decides to stay in the Premier League and move further down towards Manchester, that would be brilliant news. I think there's issues at Newcastle. Behind the scenes, what we're hearing is things are not settled. The current form is not good. Eddie Howe looks like he's going to be sacked, or by mutual agreement, he's going to have to leave in the summer. And then there's a few players that have come in also who are not settled, who look like that they want to leave Newcastle. They're disillusioned with the project of some sort. I don't know what's going on. You thought everything was looking rosy last season for Newcastle, and you thought this season, having qualified for Champions League, they're going to be just going for it completely, but they've just fell off. But that just shows you how difficult it is for a club to play in several competitions and succeed, and the manager like Eddie Howe to get the best out of his players. I think that Isak, the signing of Isak to Liverpool really knocked them for six. I think they really struggled after that. I know Voldemort or whatever, he's come in and he's done a great job for Newcastle this season, but I don't know what it is, but they're struggling, and Eddie Howe's not getting the best out of the team. But for us, this is a great opportunity. For us, it's a great opportunity if we can go out there and sign someone like Tonali. I'm hearing that even Gomes might be up for sale as well. If that's the case, can you imagine just doing a full raid on Newcastle and buying their 2 best midfielders and bringing them to Old Trafford? Now, that's what I'm talking about. Forget everybody else. Let's just go and get them too. But look, on a serious note, number one, it's a lot of money. They're getting paid. So we can't just simply go out there and buy these players. It's going to cost us a lot of money, something that we need to kind of factor in, that Ineos will not want to pay. Ineos are tight, we know that, but this is great news concerning what they're looking at. At least we can see that they're looking at the right kind of caliber of type of players. They're not looking at some shitty players like Ndidi and flipping Neves as a summer transfer signings. That will be a no-no, right? That is a no-no. At least we know that was just right. Okay, they were being mentioned and being linked to United because of short-term solutions, but they're not our long-term summer plans. So hopefully when it comes to the summer, we can sign the big boys. And that's why for me, Blaber, he's still an option. He's still someone I like, but I still feel like it's a danger to sign him, not knowing what he's going to give to United. And if you want a like-for-like replacement for Casemiro, well, Tonali is the answer, or if not, Gomes is the answer, or someone like Anderson. But then, look, there's more options, good options, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy because the more midfields available, the more easier it is to go and sign a midfielder. The more competition, the more healthier it is. If you've got like just one midfielder available in the summer, like say Anderson, and everyone's after him, the price is going to rocket up. No one's going to be able to afford him. Whereas if there's loads of midfielders knocking around in the summer, like Tonali, like Gomeres, like Anderson, like Wharton, like Baleba, then the prices kind of come down a bit because the clubs that are selling will know, right, okay, we can't have an extortionate price here and value them huge because no one's going to go and buy them when there's other options available. So that's what's going to happen. So they don't want to do that either. But look, again, coming back to this Tonali news, like I said, it broke yesterday by the Telegraph. Mike McGrath broke it. Look, I don't know this journalist too well. I don't know whether he's got the sources available up there, but it seems like everyone has taken this as gospel, as something that's concrete. So look, as far as I'm concerned, if we are linked to him, this is great news. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on because we've got lots and lots to cover in today's show. I mean, there's so much to discuss over the weekend. So much has taken place, and I will come over to the chat as well to see what you guys make of this whole deal of Tonali and everything. But let's move on to the next big story of today. It broke last night by Gary Neville. Gary Neville, yes, the ex-Man United icon, legend, whatever you want to call it. I mean, look, whatever you think of Gary Neville, I like Gary Neville. I do. I like the fact that he speaks his mind. I know some people hate him and they say that he's got an agenda, and he might have. I think there is parts of it where he kind of speaks for Ineos and is quite like in bed with them in some regards. But I like the fact that he still comes out, and it's funny. But anyway, forget all that. Gary Neville yesterday broke the news that he spoke to Ineos, who've advised him that Carrick is not going to get the job automatically, even if he does well, and even if we qualify for Champions League and we kind of go on a complete win streak and he doesn't lose any games. Even then, he's not going to get the job. Even then, Ineos are saying that he will still have to apply or throw his name in the hat and be like considered for the job, the permanent job. They will go through a process, we're being told, go through a long-winded process and an application and interviews and go through everything all over again to get the job. That's what we're hearing. Now, this sounds ridiculous, I know, but this is what we're being told. We're being told that Ineos will not give him the job blindly. Now, some of you and some of us might agree. We might say, yeah, actually, that's good. That shows Ineos are not desperate and are not just going to offer anybody the job. They're going to wait till the end of the summer and then make that decision, judging on the names that they've got and the ones that they're considering. So this could mean Tuchel, this could mean Eddie Howe, this could mean a few of the names in the hat, and then they'll, I guess, look at all of the candidates together and see which one they prefer. I mean, to me, I think it's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy if we get Champions League football and Carrick does really well with the team, that he doesn't get the job. I mean, can you imagine a moment where we go and give the job to somebody else after Carrick's had a crazy season, and then that somebody else screws things up again and we're back to square one again? I mean, for me, that's silly. That is silly. I mean, Ineos should know that. I mean, and fans will not handle that well. Fans will not be happy if we get into the Champions League, Carrick takes us in the Champions League, and then that team that's qualified for Champions League is handed to some other manager to completely come in and maybe ride the high. I don't know. For me, why would you do that? Why would you hand over that to a manager who doesn't deserve it, someone who's not worked for it? Again, we're maybe looking too far ahead right now. Maybe we're thinking we're going to go and qualify for Champions League. A lot of time, a lot of games to still be played. A lot could happen from now until the end of the season. So we, I guess, have to just wait and see what comes of the season, what Carrick can do. But the early signs are positive. The early signs are that United are cooking under Carrick and these players are responding to him. But could it be that these players are just, giving it their best for now, and then who knows, in a couple of games, they might turn on Carrick. We don't know. We all know that these players have it within them to go the other way as well. We all know that these are the same players that have let down managers time and time again. So I don't know. I don't know what they are like or what they'll be like in the future. But for me, I'd say, look, Carrick seems like he's getting the best out of them. He's getting them to play good football. It looks like they're enjoying themselves out there. And that's surely what a manager's job is, to make sure that the players are enjoying themselves out there, enjoying playing football, enjoying scoring goals and working together as a team. And that's why I think going forward in the summer, whoever we bring in has to come in and gel with the team. That's the most important thing. But look, of course, we do need a rebuild. We need to bring in more players and give the new manager, whoever it is, even if it's Carrick, more options in the season coming, especially if we qualify for Champions League. So that is my take on the news that Michael Carrick is not going to be offered the permanent job de facto. He's not going to just get it just because he's done well in the season. He still will have to go through a interview process, or a process by which everyone at Ineos or the backroom staff or the board will still consider his application. It makes sense, I guess, but a bit crazy from Ineos. But anyway, I'm still buzzing about the midfielder signing. Right, let me go to this to the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll discuss, finishing off the show, we'll discuss the weekend's fixtures, what we saw in the Liverpool-Man City game. It was crazy game. I mean, it was an enjoyable game to watch as a neutral. I mean, I was loving it. I must admit, I was enjoying my time, especially knowing that United have got the 3 points in the bag, and we've had a really good, solid performance, and we can enjoy watching the downfall of Liverpool and everybody else. Anyway, and Villa, by the way, drew as well, so that was great news. Stannis, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying your day. Niche, yes, mate. Hope you're doing well. Tonali is perfect for us. Let's forget Baleba at this point. Get him at all costs. Could imagine Anderson and Tonali. Wow, that would be so nice, wouldn't it? Having them two as our midfielders. That would be a huge upgrade. Let's get Tonali at all costs. We have to abandon the BS wage policy. We need players like this. I think so too. Look, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If the guy is available, let's go out there and sign him. Why sit there and say, do you know what? Nah, I don't think he's all right. I don't think it's a good choice to make. Tonali for me is a signing that if we can get, we get it. Tonali makes 240,000. Makes sense. He's better than Rice, who gets the same amount. He's a lot of money, man. That is a lot of money. But if we're paying, look, my argument is if we're paying Casemiro that much, or a lot more. So yeah, I mean, this guy, you'd argue, is a younger, better player. I mean, I know some of you might say that's wrong, and you might still say, but Casemiro is, at the end of his career. Let's be honest. I mean, you're right, Travis. There's zero risk. We know everything there is to know about him. Yeah, there is. Look, he is just going to tick all the boxes. Tonali, Anderson, please God, make it happen. Let's tap him up immediately. I love Cass to stay and retire here. You're right. We wouldn't have to pay another transfer fee. Yeah, that's why I think, look, we might as well give him another season, especially if he continues. And he's for me, Casemiro seems like just a good personality to have around the club. You see him coming off. He's not sulking. He's like tapping up all the players coming on, and he's also giving Carrick huge hugs. And he just seems like a great character to have around the dressing room. And them kind of players with the experience, with the know-how, can really instill confidence in the younger players. I think, look, it's definitely someone that we should consider, especially at this stage, given that he's having arguably, for me, one of his best seasons for United. The Newcastle project was never going to work of FFP. Yeah, I think that's holding them back quite a bit. I could see the Saudis selling them and buying us. If only that was the case, right? Bruno Guimaraes will retire at Newcastle. He called himself a Geordie already. I don't know. I heard otherwise, but if that's the case, well, I'm saying, look, I'm happy with Tonali. Thanks very much. Guimaraes is a secondary choice anyway. Tonali Anderson is it. If Tonali is on the table, forget Blaber. He's completely and utterly unproven. If we buy Tonali and Anderson, I'm taking Ineos incredibly serious. Yeah, look, these kind of rumours are the ones that you kind of start thinking, okay, are Ineos really thinking this, or is this just a positive PR spin? Because if this is seriously what they're considering, this is big news, man. This is big news. If Southgate's being considered, I'm going to lose it. Well, look, I think he's going to be considered, man. This is crazy news. This is crazy news, but I'm telling you, I think Southgate, Eddie Howe, if he leaves Newcastle, even if he doesn't, I still think they'll be on the table. Tuchel is definitely in there. So these names in there, if we've heard rumours that they've approached Enrique, I believe that they are getting. They're assembling the managers together. They're going to put them in a hat and then they're going to decide. So I think they're approaching managers to say, would you take the United job? If the manager says yes, they put him in the hat and then they'll consider him in the summer. They'll sit down and then they'll say, right, we've got Carrick, who's done a decent job. If he qualifies for the Champions League, that's massive. And then they'll look at the other managers who've won Champions Leagues, right? Okay, there's a big difference between qualifying for Champions League than going and winning the Champions League. So that's why the likes of the Tuchels and others will be considered, because like Enrique, if they're willing to take the job, they'll be considered and they'll be the first choices. I think so. Let's not get carried away, and I don't want to get carried away as well. I don't want to say, look, Carrick should be given the job just because he's had like an amazing few games and great results for us. But look, he's not doing himself any harm, is he? Even if he doesn't get the United job, I mean, can you imagine the long line of clubs that will be lining up to sign Carrick as the new manager? Carrick isn't Ollie, he's the new Fergie. Yeah, I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping that is the case, because what I'm seeing, and when I'm doing the watch-alongs, is that this is the first time since Fergie, I'm looking at the team thinking, wow, this team looks like a Fergie team. It plays like a Fergie team. As long as Carrick is favouring English players, Ineos will be happy with him. Yeah, look, that could be a possibility. I don't know. I don't know if Ineos are happy with him. I don't think so. I think Ineos are gonna want their own man in. Carrick has kind of come from the old regime. Now, if you look back at Sir Jim Ratcliffe and what he said about Sir Alex Ferguson and everybody else, I don't think he's a big fan of the old regime. I don't think he likes keeping in touch with the club's history. It's weird to say that, because you'd think that that's the first thing he'd do. The first thing he'd do is like say, look, let's go back to and try and get that kind of football being played again. But I don't think he is. I think he wants to move on and he wants to put his own marker down on United. So I think that's why you're probably hearing news that, he's not going to get the job just because he's doing well. He's still going to have to apply for it. And I think that's coming from Ineos. Sandel says, Kuna and Mbeumo will have 5 years left on their contract at the end of the season. We need to give Bruno a 5-year contract on reduced fees. Like Man United, he will stay. These three guys are cooking. That's a good point. I personally think, look, for me, if we need to box off Bruno, it's going to be easier said than done, though, because he has made his intentions clear that he wants to leave. Now, this was before, obviously, Carrick arriving, but can Carrick convince him? Can he see United winning things? That's what it all comes down to. It all comes down to, can Bruno see United cooking and actually succeeding in the coming years? And if he can, and if he can see trophies being won at Old Trafford, I think then it's easier to convince him to stay. But if he sees the project and says, like, I don't think we're going to do anything, then yeah, I don't think he'll stay. But I think having Mbeumo and Kuna in the mix is definitely a positive sign. And I think Bruno's probably looking at it thinking, these guys are going to be scoring goals for fun, so I'm going to be getting lots of assists, high numbers, and if we're scoring for fun, we're going to win things. If Newcastle was owned by Bowley, nobody would stop them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think so too. I think they've got Chelsea. In the Bowley's mad. He's mad. He doesn't give a shit, does he? He doesn't care about having to spend money. He's there to. He's a maverick owner, isn't he? Bruno won't take reduced wage, though, Sandil. He shouldn't have to. I'd give him a 3-year deal on his current wage and keep the captaincy. I don't think Bruno will take even the same wage. I think Bruno's what he's been offered elsewhere is a lot of money. And I think that's why. It's going to be really difficult to keep him, especially if we're going to try and do some kind of cheap deal with him and try and offer him less, because he's at the peak of his powers. He's going to be like, wait up, I can go off to Saudi League. I can possibly even go off to one of the other big European clubs and get a lot of money. So yeah, I think that's the problem with Bruno. I'm trying to get that United Strand guy to have a haircut on your stream, but he wants too much money. Do you know what? That is too funny, isn't it? That is too funny. I wouldn't mind him having him on just to have a chat with him, but I think there's rumours that have gone around that that he's been offered huge amounts of money from a number of channels to come on and get his haircut done live on stream. But he's said no to them all because he wants a large amount of money to do it. So of course, look, it's gonna attract a lot of attention. And good luck to the guy. Look, I don't know who came on and told me that. Look, he's given the money to charity, and it's all of a good cause. He's not really kind of making any money. So if he can go and get the money and give it to charity, fine. I think it's a bit of a distraction. I don't like the fact that it's a distraction. I just feel like it's just something that's distracting from what Carrick is doing right now and what the team's doing. And I think Bruno Fernandes was asked the question actually post-match, saying, have you heard of this guy he's going to cut his hair, and he's not cut his hair for until United win 5 games in a row, blah, blah, blah. And I think Bruno Fernandes was like, look, I don't know. I don't really know, and I don't care. And I thought that was a good answer, because I just don't want it to turn into like, where other fans start doing ridiculous things as well and making a mockery of United winning 5 games in a row. Look, this guy, obviously he did it, whatever his intentions were, I can't question them. But I just don't want it. I don't want United to be turned into a laughing stock, right? It's not a bloody comic here. It's not a circus, although at times it does feel like that with Ineos and the Glazers. But I just feel like, we've got to take things seriously, and we're being distracted from what United are actually doing. We should be over the moon with the 4 wins in a row, and obviously West Ham. And I don't want everyone to be talking about the game against West Ham because of the haircut. That's just ridiculous. I want United to be talking about the game against West Ham because we're going to win 5 games in a row, because Carrick's doing a fantastic job and these players are responding. That is why I feel like this is a distraction. So yeah, look, I'm not in it. I don't feel I just can't get into it. I look, for whatever reason, if he's doing for whatever, I just hope that it just gets over and done with. Yeah, get the haircut, just boom, 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 over and done with, and let's move on, right? Okay, there's more important things than some bloke not wanting to cut his hair. And what happens next? I mean, do we get another fan who says, right, I'm not going to cut my hair until United win the league, or I'm not going to cut my hair until United win the Champions League? Like, come on, like, seriously, we need to kind of, yeah. But look, again, I'm not knocking him. If his intentions are good and he's making money for charity or whatever, then yeah, so be it. and he can be good. Anyway, the Saudi Pro League is finished, though. Empty stadiums everywhere. Yeah, the Saudi Pro League, I think they started off thinking that it's going to be easy to get all the players to come into their league and it's going to take off and there's going to be lots of people watching the Saudi League because of Ronaldo and blah, blah, blah. But it's not taken off because, let's be honest, people aren't interested. Even if Ronaldo's playing, the caliber of football is not as good. And yes, Ronaldo might be playing there, and a few others might be playing there, but it's not a. It still hasn't got the caliber of teams that you want to watch and say, right, okay, this is going to be an interesting game. You haven't got the time. You haven't got the time. The Carrick fan 2026. Morning, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining the channel and dropping a comment. Sooner he has a haircut, the better. Oh, yeah. It's annoying. He's everywhere. Yeah, I think that's what that's my sentiments exactly. I think for me, I'm a bit like, okay. At first it was funny, but now it's kind of like it's getting a bit on my nerves. I'm like, look, we're getting distracted. Regarding Tonali, I'd try and get him and wind up Newcastle fans. I think Newcastle fans have already wound up quite a bit, aren't they? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we took Sesko off them. Even Mbumo, apparently they wanted Mbumo. So again, we took Mbumo and we took Sesko. And if we take Tonali, I think that's it, man. We will have enemies forever in Newcastle fans. I think we'll struggle. Exactly, he's turning us into a laughing stock. We don't need updates every day. Oh, so this is the bloke with the haircut, United Strand, isn't it? Strand, yeah, United Strand. I mean, yeah. Look, look. I'm not saying. Look, I'm not liking the guy himself. I don't know him yet, but I just feel like it's a distraction to what we're actually doing, which is we're playing good bloody football right now. And people are talking about him getting his haircut. And I'm thinking, what the F are you talking about? We're actually cooking as a team, man. We should be celebrating that. Completely agree. I want the kid to cut his hair and give the money to charity. Imagine if we don't win against West Ham, back to square. Yeah, I know that. I think that is, for me, that's the part of the distraction. I feel like, look, we shouldn't be concentrating on winning our 5th game just so he can get his haircut. We should be concentrating because we need to qualify for Champions League. I'm looking at Aston Villa. I'm thinking, right, okay, we need to stay on their backs. We've got a chance here. Nish will say if we don't finish top 4, then he'll shift to the Himalayas. I don't know. I don't know if he'll do. Yeah, let us know, Nish, what you think about that, eh? Shifting to the Himalayas. The Carrick fan says what he should have done is day one of not coming his haircut and kept quiet until having it. Yeah, look, he's doing it for whatever reason he's doing it for, right? He's doing it for Niche. I just want it over and done with. Yeah, I do as well. He should have said 3 wins in a row and not 5. Yeah, I think that was probably Lumen. That's probably at that point. I think that was more realistic. Three wins and call it a day. I just don't want it to be a knock-on effect where other fans start doing the same shit. Do you get it? Because they realise that he's got hype, and then suddenly there's fans coming out with all sorts of weird stuff that they're going to do until United don't win something. I mean, nah, I'm not in favour of that. I hope we get Tonali. Yeah, absolutely, man. Carrick fan. For me, if we can get Tonali, it is massive. It is massive. And this is great news. I mean, when I was reading it and I was like looking into it, I was like thinking, this is a marquee signing. It's a signing that puts everybody else on notice. Everybody else then look at this and think, oh shit, United are back. We are back. If we start making these kind of signings, United, we've already got rival fans who shit it every time United start playing good football. And right now, I'm telling you, they are having a complete meltdown at the likes of City, at the like of Liverpool, and even Arsenal. They're all having a meltdown at United performing the way they are. They're shitting it, not because of this season, but next season. If United continue the way they are, we know we're going to flip and smash everyone that comes past us, right? Anyone comes near us, we're going to smash him. And then we get someone else in as well. I think, look, I started off the show by saying, look, Tonali is the tip of the iceberg. We need a few more players to come in to completely try and transform this team. There's a lot more that we need coming in. Me Too is a distraction, and the kids need the kid need the money, the hair sooner rather than later. Anish, I genuinely hope it's over and done with soon. I do as well. The fact that United Strand should just cut it next game anyway, otherwise it's just about him. Give the kids the money and the hair. I think that's a really good point actually there, Anish. I think that's a good point. Just simply, I think he should say, look, it doesn't matter whether it's a win or a loss or whatever, I'm just going to cut my hair. Just make it a point like, look, I'm going to cut my hair. You can watch it live, whatnot, get the money in, and then just send it off to the charity of his choice or whatever. But look, like I said, it's for a good cause. First, I just thought it's just for him personally. But then when someone, I think it was Neville who said that, look, it's for a charity. I was like, okay, look, that's nice. Steph, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Completely agree. If we get Tonali, it's a statement. We come to destroy you. Yeah, it will put fear. It'll strike fear in the hearts of rival clubs and fans. They will know we mean business. And to make a big signing like that is what really strikes fear in everybody. Can't see Newcastle dealing with us after Ashworth botching saga. Yeah, that was... But we did pay them the compensation. But I guess they could... I mean... I think Newcastle will be reluctant, not just because of the Ashworth saga, but also because of Sesko. Remember, we stopped that when they looked like they're the ones who made the first move for Sesko. We came in after that, and the same thing with Mbeumo. A lot of fans don't know this, but Newcastle were in for Mbeumo as well, but Mbeumo actually said no to them and moved to United. So, but again, Newcastle fans will not be having any of it. They'll be sat there thinking, no way are we selling Tonali to United. But I said it when Newcastle was signing Tonali, and I was like, we should be all over this. We should make this happen. We should be the ones going and getting Tonali. Do not let him go to Newcastle. That's the worst thing we could do. Peter, hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks for joining and dropping a comment. It cannot happen. So, Peter, I presume you're saying on the Tonali deal, yeah, look, it's going to be definitely a difficult signing. Not just because of what I've just said to you about Newcastle holding a grudge and the fans not being pleased. I just feel like we've got to first work out what Tonali is thinking right now in that head of his. Is he saying, I do not want to be at Newcastle because I want to go back to Serie A, want to go back to my country and, go back to Italy and live the luxury life or chilled out life? It's a laid back league, isn't it? It's a laid back league. You don't have to. And, getting up, if we underestimate what footballers have to do, and I know they get paid thousands of pounds a week. I'm not saying that. And to be honest with you, I'd be happy to get up and go to training in the pissing down rain every single day, knowing full well what I'm making, right? I would not hesitate, even if it's flipping snowing out there. I'll turn up half bloody naked if I have to, if I'm getting paid that much money. But, footballers are thinking, oh, look, I could be out in the sun enjoying my training rather than being out in the cold, miserable weather. So that's probably why most players that come from these kind of leagues struggle to play in the Premier League for that reason. And even the games, in the winter, it's quite difficult. Newcastle have only sold one player to us in the last 50 years, Andy Cole. Oh, what a signing that was, though, Luhmann. Oh, Andy Cole, now that brings some memories back. I think you're right. I think we haven't really got a good relationship with Newcastle. So, yeah, it all depends on the player then. If the player himself chooses United, and that's why I think Nietzsche was saying, let's tap him up early. Let's go in there early, because I think that is the best for me. Tonali, Cab, just say he wants us. Nothing they can do about it. What's he going to do? Sit there and... Yeah, Tonali can just say he wants us. Yeah, that is crucial. If you've seen the modern day transfers, if a player says, like Isaac said, I want Liverpool, that's it. game over. Game over. And that's why it's really important, I personally think, that we go in there, tap the player up, forget Newcastle, allow Newcastle. We don't need to speak to them until we come to the table to agree a fee, and that obviously is not easy either. But if the player wants to move, then there's nothing stopping him. Nothing. What's the maximum you would pay for Tonali if he's available? That's a really, really good question. A really good question. I would look, for me, I would go as far as, realistically, he's probably worth right now about 80 mil, I'd say, realistically. But I obviously know that that's not going to cut the mustard. They'll probably want a lot more than that. I think I would go as far as, say, about 80, 90 if we can get him. I still think it's worth it. I still think he's still got plenty left in the tank. So that would be my thought. I mean, let me know. Let me know what everyone else thinks about what valuation Tonali would fetch and what would be reasonable, and what do you expect Ineos will pay. That's the other thing, and it's not just about him making that that valuation. It's also his salary. We discussed the salary. That was quite a bit as well. I mean, he's on 200 plus at least. I think he would want a lot more from us just to move to United. Scantily clad is a better phrase. Yeah. I'd pay 90 mil plus for Tonali, plus 10 for Tonali. Yeah, so yeah, look, it's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those where everyone thinks that what I'm hearing from most fans is get it fucking done. Let's get it done. And I can see why. Stakes on Tonali coming to us should be high, but I don't have hard cash to bet. Wow, that's pretty cool, man. I like that positivity. Refresher, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for your comment. Build Michael Carrick a statue. Yeah, absolutely, man. He's doing wonders right now. I mean, if he carries on this rate, I don't think there'll be many. I don't think there'll be many who'll argue against you there. For me, look, for what he's done with City, we're underestimating what's happened so far. He's picked up a team that were playing rock bottom. They were shit. Think back to Ruben Amorim and what we were doing. 10 men Everton, and we couldn't even smash them. We couldn't even beat them. Look at the transformation. Just the transformation in itself. My God, Carrick, man, he deserves a statue just for getting the best out of these players, because these are the same players that we were all talking about, saying all of them are shit. None of them are worth playing. But he's getting the best out of flipping Dalot. I mean, that in itself deserves a bloody statue for me. I mean, getting something out of Dalot is sensational. Getting him to not make a mistake is, I don't know what he's told him, but it must be something crazy. He's Italy's best player. We'd make so much out of his image rights. That would come, of course. Tonali, would be... It would be a massive, massive signing. I would pay Ugarte, Zertsky, Dalot and Shaw for Tonali. Look, I think you're throwing everyone in there, but yeah, I know what you mean. United have not had much luck with signing Italian players. Time for that to change, maybe. Yeah, do you know what? That's so interesting you say that, Stephanie, because I was trying to work out who was our last Italian player. I think it was the left back... I can't remember his bloody name. Diamani, I can't remember his name, man. I can't remember his name. It's just flipping gone out of my flipping head. I had it on the tip of my tongue. You guys will know. Damian, that's it, man. Thank you, Stephanie. Football knowledge. Stephanie's got football knowledge, man. She knows her stuff. Honestly, that is great. Damian, he was our last Italian player. And yeah, I'd say that he didn't actually do too well, did he? He came with a lot of hype, though. We were all thinking, right, this guy's going to be sensational. But he just didn't hit the heights that we were expected of him. He did go back to Italy. I think he played half decent there, and then he came back, and then he was kind of like, okay, didn't really do too well. I agree, Luman, I'd sell all of those players to get Tonali. Damian, Tonali is a great box-to-box. Phil, first of all, welcome to the channel. Thanks for your comment. Tonali is a great box-to-box number 8. Will suit Menu in a 6. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a no-brainer. In terms of him dropping into this midfield of ours, he would improve any team he goes into, right? I mean, this guy is... he's one of those signings that if you just bring in a player like that, he would make your team so much better. Like, boom, immediately, within within seconds of starting, he's going to improve our team. And that's why you can't really put a price on a player like this. You can't put a price on a player like this. If he comes into the United side and... I mean, we're cooking, aren't we then? I mean, Menu, we've got Bruno Fernandes. If we can hopefully keep him, absolute scenes. It'll be scenes, man. We would be a team that he'd be our Declan Rice. He'd be that kind of signing. Look, I've said it many times over and over again. Arsenal were shit. Arsenal were all over the place. No matter what they did, they were shit until they signed Declan Rice. And they had that signing that made the difference. And now they look like a team that's got some physicality, some strength. They're not going to just roll over unless they meet Man United, and then United are just going to smash them, right? And my dream is to watch a Man United game in the pub with Stephanie. Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Hopefully, I mean that would be good. Rossi and Mercedes were promising youngsters. Oh, Rossi, I forgot about Rossi, man. Yeah, my God, man. Oh my God, Steph, man, you know your stuff. Rossi was another player I remember. And Mercedes, look, yeah, I forgot he was Italian actually, but he was okay. But you knew he didn't have the hype around him. But Rossi definitely had the hype around him. Do you know what I remember? And now this goes back a little bit. I remember playing, I think it was FIFA at the time, yeah? And Rossi was an amazing dribbler player. And I used to always have him in my team. He just used to be brilliant. But anyway, Menu will want a 200k, I guarantee. Look, the Menu situation, I'm not too concerned about. Number one, do you feel... just as whilst everyone's watching, right? Whilst everyone's here, drop your comments, everybody, about Menu being paid 25k a week. Is that reasonable for someone like Menu? Personally, I think that's a disgrace. Ineos should take a hard look at themselves. I think a reasonable amount for Menu in his current form would be about 120k. I would give him that. I would sign it. I'd give him that all day long. Let me know if I'm just being over generous and spending the money of Ineos, or am I being reasonable? Because I think that's reasonable for someone like Menu. I think if we were to go out there and sign somebody similar to Menu, we'd be paying that much anyway. So yeah, let me know. But a good point there. Niche. Kobe is worth giving Kobe 200k a week. Yeah. Well, 200 I think is a lot of money, but I think to keep him grounded as well, I think 125 is about reasonable, and it's 100k plus what he's on right now, so that's pretty good. Hi Niche, hope you're well, my friend. Ironic that Gascoigne went to Italy when he should have always been with us. Yeah, I mean that's another signing that I think he was probably. We probably didn't go after him as aggressive as we should have, because he's off the field antics. But I think other than that, he would have come to United. Spot on Niche. Fergie would have controlled him. I don't know if Fergie would have, because he was crazy. He was crazy, man. But if there is any manager out there who could have controlled him, it probably would have been Fergie. Yes, I mean, if there was any manager who could have, brought him down. I mean, he controlled the likes of Cantona to some degree, right? And Cantona was off his rocker as well. Menu should be getting 120k max on a 5-year deal. Palmer gets only 130. Yeah, look, for me, that is a definite. I think if we can just box him off, and I agree with you, that we should give him a 5-year deal. I think that is the new norm now, right? We lock down players. Giving the 5-year contract gives us some assurance that, look, we're paying him on 120k, and yeah, look, 5 years, box him off, and then the players got something to work towards. I just do you know what kind of irks me a little bit, and I just get a bit nervous about players who are negotiating their contracts and then they start playing good football and or there's a World Cup round the corner and they start playing out of their skin, and then suddenly, once they've got their contract or once they've got their World Cup spot, and then it's just like, yeah, okay, next season it's not the same. So that's why I'm a bit nervous about everything, but I hope that, look, we get the Casemiro still cooking, and I hope we still get the likes of Luke Shaw playing like he's doing. I mean, he's been decent this season for us. We can't criticise him for not playing bad. He's not played bad. He's not played brilliant, but he's not played bad either. So he's locked down that position. He's doing well. I think the big question is going to be is if Kunis carries on cooking and carries on scoring goals and starts playing and locking down that front position on the left wing, do we bring Dogu back and slot him into the left back position and drop Shaw, or does Dogu sit on the bench? That's going to be another one. But I guess we've got that to worry about in another 2-3 months, so we're not having to worry about that just yet. Kobe was still only 20. What a talent! Yeah, he's sensational. Big fan of Kobe. Big fan of academy players coming through. United, Mancunian lad. Things like that. I'm a big sucker for. Right? I really like the homegrown talent like that, and I just feel like it just adds a different dynamic. The best player that I've ever came through the academy was Ravel Morrison. Yeah, top player. ADHD destroyed his career. I think Gascoigne suffered from the same, but at a lesser level than Morrison. Well, you know what? Everyone who's played with Morrison says the same thing. Everyone says this guy was crazy. He was, I think I've heard Rio Ferdinand say the same thing, and a few others. They've seen this kid come through and he was really good, but unfortunately didn't hit the heights. That's my main issue with young players. You've got to nurture them. You've got to make sure that you protect them and you bring them through carefully. Don't drop them into the deep end and don't make them drown and destroy their confidence. Kobe looks really good though. I mean, he's coming, and you wouldn't even think that he's not played this season. You wouldn't even think that he's been dropped by Ruben Amorim. I mean, Ruben Amorim has got a lot to answer for. I mean, it's really funny that we get this kind of we get all this fallout once the manager leaves, and then everything comes to light and you start thinking, shit, what was he flipping doing? Not playing this kid. He's been brilliant for us. And what was he doing? Playing Bruno Fernandes at the back in the deep role? Like what? Like that was criminal. Fletcher has got a 39 old McTominay shirt number. Fletcher, I think he's gonna be good, man. Fletcher's gonna be good as well. Again, another one that we can look forward to. You will talk about tactics against West Ham in your stream tomorrow. Yeah, of course we will. Tomorrow we're gonna be looking forward to the game, guys. Of course, a big game for United. I'll be doing an early morning stream, and then of course we'll be doing the watch along as well. It's a must-win game. It's another must-win game. A big game. It's weird, but every bloody game is huge for United right now. But look, for me, it's an important factor because of what Carrick is doing with these players. He's instilling confidence. And look, we all know that the old United teams, there was one thing that they always did, which was they built on a win after win after win, and it was almost like then they had this aura about them that no one, even opposition teams, would lose. What I think the best line was, and I'll finish the show on this, which was Roy Keane said that sometimes we'd beat the teams out in the tunnel before we even went out onto the pitch. We know we'd won against that team. Psychologically, we'd had beaten them because they'd look over at us and think, shit, we can't beat these guys. We can't beat this team. And that's the kind of aura you want from United teams. And I felt like Spurs felt that. I felt like even Thomas Frank, even he felt that it's going to be almost impossible to come to Old Trafford and beat this Carrick team. in his pre-match press conference, you just smelt defeat. You smelt that he had fear. It was just crazy stuff going on, man. Let me see. Dalot better not miss another open goal at West Ham. Still got PTSD. Yeah, I know. That miss was crazy, man. How did he do that? Is West Ham a low block team? Yeah, look, they're going to play a defensive game against United. Of course, they're going to play a defensive game because United, we're away. West Ham have done pretty well in the last couple of games. They're not a team to be, again, taken lightly. I say this about all bloody teams, but it's weird. But we always play teams when they're coming back up again. So Spurs had a decent result against City, so they were hyped against playing against United. And I think West Ham, I think they won 2-0 in last game. And I think, again, they will be ready to take on United. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I still feel like United have got that something about them that can come and destroy any opposition on any given day right now. I just feel like Carrick has tactfully done things. Tactically, he knows what to do. He knows how to line up players, what positions to play, how to play them. And if he puts out the same team, I think we're going to go and win him. Nuno is clever manager, always does well against Wolves. And yeah, exactly. Nuno is a really, really tricky customer. And we need to make sure we are on our A game. But I'm sure Carrick will warn the players of the danger that West Ham have. And we're not going to be complacent. No way we're not. Anyway, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody today. It's been a proper wicked show today. It's been really, really good. I've enjoyed everyone's comments and discussion on around Tonali and around Carrick and obviously everything else that's been going on at United. I'll be back tomorrow. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's dropped their comments. You make the show, guys. I'm just here as a moderator, but you guys are the true stars of the show. So thank you very much. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody else who's tuned in. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.